Hi, I'm Carrie Ann Stout, founder and CEO of Vinco Bar Exam Coaching. In today's video, we're going to learn how to host a virtual study group. The first step in hosting a study group, whether it's virtual or in person, is to figure out who's going to be in the study group. Now, I generally recommend keeping study groups between 3 to 5 people, and I think that's even more important if it's going to be a virtual study group. Well, why is that? In person, when you're all in a room, you can get a sense of the dynamics. You can, if it's too many people, you can leave. If it's uncomfortable, whatever the case may be, you have that more in person human connection. It's easier to see if people aren't paying attention, if somebody's getting lost. It's a little bit easier to pick up on those things and end up making it more productive. Online, when you don't have that, you can have potentially people who disengage, who don't participate as much, if those numbers start to get too big. So I would really recommend keeping your study group between 3 and 5 people. The next thing you need to do when setting up your virtual study group is decide on a platform. So that could be something like Zoom or Skype or Google Hangouts, um, maybe even something like FaceTime. There's lots of different software out there. You want to figure out price, right? You may be able to do this for free depending on what kind of features you want. Or, for example, I use Zoom and I pay, I think, about $14 a month for that account. So if that's the kind of software you want to use, that's something that maybe you could split the cost among the 3 to 5 people in your groups, and it can still be pretty affordable just to make it through the semester. So things that you want to think of in addition to price when choosing your software is or your platform is, what do you want it to be able to do? Do you want it to have a whiteboard feature? Do you want it to have screen share options, recording options, the ability to have audio and video? Like what things do you need, right? I don't think you need anything super fancy, but it might be nice to be able to record the videos. It might be nice if it has some kind of whiteboard feature to it, so that if you're working at hypothetical questions or something like that, hey, I usually throw a real whiteboard up on a chair and write on it. So you don't need to be high tech or fancy, but figure out what you in your study group think is important and that you'll use, and then research those options and figure out what is either free or in your budget. You also want to set up a place to share resources. So by that, I mean like a Google Drive folder or Dropbox or Microsoft Drive, I think that's what it's called, somewhere that you can have a shared folder where you can upload practice questions to. Maybe if you guys are working on an outline together, sharing resources that you get from other places, so that when it's time to get together and have your study group, it's not, oh, let me email you this question or take a picture of this question, right? If you have a central location where you're sharing resources already, everything will be right there. Everyone will be able to access it, and it'll make your sessions run more smoothly. Don't forget to treat your study group like a class. What do I mean by that? I mean, put it on your calendar, go in a quiet room, close the door, put in your headphones if you need to. Um, Give it your full attention, right? If something feels casual or feels like it's not a class, it's not super formal, you might not give it the attention it deserves. And if you guys are deciding to do this study group because it's going to be beneficial to you to talk out ideas, to do practice questions, to just clarify things together, then make sure that you're actually giving it the time and dedication and focus it deserves, so that you're not just wasting your time. Finally, set an agenda and goals for each session. Whether you're in person or in a virtual study group, they can sometimes go off the rails if you don't have a plan. And this is valuable time that you're not spending doing something else for class, right? Any time that you're spending with a study group, you could be doing something else. You could be outlining, case briefing, doing practice questions. And so if you've decided that a study group is a valuable part of your plan, and I think it is for many people, make sure that you're optimizing that time by having a plan going into it. So maybe decide what practice questions you're going to do that day and do them ahead of time and then review them. Or if you're going to do them together that day, make sure that they're uploaded to that shared drive that we talked about before, so that everybody has access to it. And that way, if you go in with some goals, even if you end up talking about something else, it's totally reasonable that you're going to socialize a little bit and get off track. But if you know what you're setting out to accomplish that day, it makes it easier to come back and focus when those inevitable attention detours do happen. I hope you found these tips helpful and that they help you set up your own virtual study group. And I will see you back here soon.